Hey everyone, it's Dr. Nick here. Going to talk a little bit more about complex experimental designs. And we had talked about these a little bit right before our spring break. So, what I'm doing is talking from the complex experimental design presentation. And we actually already discussed the interactions. So, I think the last thing that we had discussed before spring break was potentiation and mixing drugs with alcohol and how alcohol basically intensifies the effect of a substance. And so we talked about interactions, and I put on the board there how a graph of an interaction may look. And again, if you graph your data when you have a factorial design and the lines on the graph touch one another, or if they intersect, then that indicates an interaction is occurring between the two factors you have in your study. So, what I wanted to do also, and I was planning on doing this anyway after we came back from break, well, here we are doing this, right? Although virtually, was I wanted to continue this conversation because it's important material to know, especially because many of you are doing factorial designs for your research proposals. So, if you want to follow along on your complex experimental design presentation, then I'll pick up some commentary with the slide that says main effects, and that would be slide 7 on the main presentation that I posted for the week of the 30th through the what's it going to be on Friday, the 3rd. So, if you would go ahead and follow along. So, I'm reading with the slide called main effects. So, a main effect, as we talked about, is the simple effect of a factor on a dependent variable. So, we talked a lot about humidity and temperature combining to produce an impact on fatigue of an athlete. Well, we also talked about how humidity alone can make an impact on fatigue, and temperature alone can make an impact on fatigue. So, factorial designs are cool because you not only test an interaction of two factors together, exerting a combined impact on a dependent variable, but you can also test the impact of a single factor on the dependent variable at the same time. So those are called main effects. So when we graph main effects, what we'll see is a slope in the line if it's a significant main effect. So I'm going to post this here. You can tell I've got a fan on. There we go. So I'll post this here. And this is what a main effect would look like. You have basically lines that are parallel to one another and they have a slope to them. If there was no significant main effect, then the lines would not slope at all. There would be no slope to them. Okay. So something important to be mindful of there. I also have a YouTube clip that you can check out as well. Again, one of those ones where I was thinking, well, I'm going to do the best I can to determine a main effect, and so you can check that on your own. So to slide 8, I'm on slide 8 now of that presentation. The types of factorial designs. You can have 3 different types of them. One of them is an independent groups design. Another is a repeated measures design, and the third type is a mixed design. So what I'll do in the next video is I'll talk to you a little bit about what each one of those is, and then I'll wrap up the conversation on complex experimental designs.